Hello everybody, as promised, a blue dotted mandala. So normally I start with a black background. This time I'm using a couple of different shades of blue. I'm going to list the colors of blue that I've used in the comments of the description, but I'm definitely using peacock blue. I'm also using a little bit of cayman blue. You're not really going to be able to see a whole lot of this. I was going to kind of try and darken the center as well. I started off with a paintbrush and I decided that my rock is extremely bumpy and I need a sponge to make sure that all the little nooks and crannies in the rock are actually blue. So I'm only going down about halfway. So only one side of the rock will be blue. The other side is going to stay its natural, beautiful colors. It is best if you're going to darken the center to make sure your paint is still a little bit wet so that you can blend it properly. I did try to darken the center, so I'm not really sure you can tell in this video, but it's just a slightly darker blue. I'm going to be using different shades of blue. I'm going to be adding a whole bunch of color to this, but a lot of blue, just so you are aware. Now that little pencil mark is me trying to find as close as possible what I think the center is of this stone. And we're going to go from there. We're just going to create together and hopefully you can see it okay. You can definitely see by the texture of the stone, it's a bumpy one. So once we seal it with resin, we're going to be able to see all these dots really stand out a lot more, but just bear with me. We'll get through all these little bumps and stuff, and it's still going to look fantastic. So as you can see, I'm adding a little bit of gold. You know how much I love gold. So of course I wanted to add a little bit in here. So I'm doing dots all the way around the center circle. I did start with bigger dots and then I went in with a smaller dotting needle for the small ones in between the bigger ones. If you need to pause this or slow it down, I recommend muting me so you can't hear me, or else I turn into a monster. But if I'm going too fast for you, by all means, slow your video down, pause it as much as you need to, and follow along at your own pace. I did yellow dots now on top of the smaller gold dots. And now I'm walking gold dots around those yellow ones. And if I make a mistake, I grab a Q-tip really quick and wipe off what I did and go back to it and make it all better. Yeah, don't get upset with yourself and don't start over. You can fix your mistakes. You can scrape these dots off if you have to and then paint it back to blue again and wait for it to dry and start all over. But don't get rid of it. Just take your time. So now I'm using cayman blue, and that's the same color we did in the center. So bigger dots of blue in between the yellow. So they're not on top of the yellow, they're between the yellow. Then I walked 3 dots of blue around the yellow and gold. It's hard for me to explain. I'm going to do the best I can. So now on top of our big blue dots, bigger blue dots, I'm doing orange. You can choose whatever orange you want. The orange I am using is Folkart Vivid Orange, but you don't have to use the same exact colors that I'm using. You do you. I just told one of my friends that today. You do you. So I'm also walking with gold around the orange dots. And then we're going to bring in some more yellow because I want to keep it bright, but I really like just adding like a pop of different colors in with the blue. There's also going to be a smidgen of purple, like a lavender color. But it's mostly going to be blue with a sprinkle of orange and yellow. So you'll see that. I just want there to be some brightness throughout. something for your eyes to focus on. A lot of people use mandalas as grounding stones, and they can sometimes meditate with these stones and looking at all the designs and the colors and the way the dots are and just kind of like the colors that are involved. It helps. So, think about that when you're creating your little pieces of artwork. Sometimes these stones are more than just a little piece of artwork that you thought was cool. Sometimes they're very, very special. So I've added my yellow, and I did some gold dots as well over the yellow. Now I've added a lavender color, and I did one purple dot, a bigger one, underneath the orange ones. And now I'm doing like a chain loop of gold, as you can see. Just going to change up our design a little bit. I'm also going to be adding 2 more dots, one on either side of these purple dots, just 2 more purple dots, but they're going to be smaller. So you'll see me do that later on. Right now, I'm going to bring in big gold dots. I'm using all of my nail dotting tools, or if you just look up dotting tools, this is one of my bigger ones. And even though it's a fairly big dot on its own, I still kind of move it in a circular motion in order to make the dots a little bit bigger. And sometimes if my dots aren't really round, they're not circular enough for me, I will adjust it, making a circular motion with the dotting tool. So I'm smaller gold dots in between there. And then we're going to start bringing in some more blue. We haven't used blue in a bit. So I'm going to start with my darkest blue that I have on my shelf here, and that is cerulean blue. So just find a dark blue and one that's darker than the blue background that you currently have. That's all that you have to worry about. We're only going to do a little bit of cerulean blue, just this little bit here. But it does make a difference when the entire thing is done. Just that little smidgen of blue stands out amongst the entire thing. You'll see. I'll show it to you all shiny as well. It's just gorgeous. It smooths right out. All these bumps are gone when you seal it with resin, so it looks amazing. So now I'm going back to cayman blue, and I'm going to do, I think, 2 lines dotting the cayman blue around that cerulean blue. So I do a bigger dot in the center and then walk up either side. And as you walk up either side, you start to run out of paint and the dots get smaller. And that's all you got to do. So I'm going to do 2 rows of that, and then we'll switch to a lighter color after that. So I can gab while we're doing all this dotting. My new part-time job is going well. There's the smaller lavender dots I was telling you about. It's going well. I'm still learning. I'm still stressing to make sure that I do the job properly, and I'm just hoping that I start to feel like at home and comfortable soon. There's a lot of factors that come in when it comes to that. But I've been worrying a lot about my shop too, so I'm trying to balance everything out. My son and I just went and got our beginner's driver's license together. I've never had a driver's license. I have gotten my beginner's once before, but I was promised by my husband that he would help me pay for driving school, and it never happened. And I couldn't afford to do it on my own. So I've only just now gone and written my beginners again for the second time in my entire life. But I got to do it with my son. So we both got our beginners on the same day, and I'm super excited about our futures and not having to rely on other people or walk everywhere that we go. And, you know, if you see a nice, like, a nice big plant at the store, or like a piece of furniture, or someone selling something on you know, Facebook Marketplace, or something, and I can't get it because I can't drive there and pick it up. Yeah, I'm not gonna have to worry about that for too much longer. So big steps for us, big changes in our future, and it's overwhelming and very exciting at the same time. So I'm just really proud of us for how well we're doing and how hard we've worked. So we're getting there slowly, a lot slower than some. But you know what? I'm okay with that. It's happening on our time. So I'm okay with that. I added a lighter blue, which is patina. It's more of a, like a kind of a greenish blue. And so that was the end of our blue dots, and then I added gold the same way, big dot at the bottom, and walked my way up either side, and that's just some more gold. We're going to be doing all that dotting again in between these ones, but we're going to start with purple, and then we're going to work our way back up to blue, and then gold again, and we're almost done. So if you speed this up, just ignore what I'm doing here. I thought this would make sense. Like, I thought I was measuring it out properly. Ignore this. You don't have to do this. I ended up having to fix it later on. It just didn't turn out the way I was hoping. But I kind of wanted to know how far up to go with my other dots. So that was like a guide. And then I ended up having to paint over them and get rid of them and move them and all that. So ignore that. Don't do that. I'm going in with my lavender again, but I'm also going to bring in light lavender. And you can just use purple and a light purple. Just lighten it up with a little bit of white. That's all you got to do. If you don't have all the colors that I have, just use white to lighten things up. So if you have one shade of blue, but it's kind of a dark blue, that's fine. Start with dark blue, add a little bit of white, stir it up. Next shade up, add a little bit more white, stir it up, and off you go. Same with purple. If you don't have different shades of purple, you can add white to lighten it and change everything. Or you can add other colors to it. So like if you want to add a little bit of green to your blue, or if you want to add some pink to your purple, it'll change everything up. I always try to send you some tips in my videos. So this is like really pretty when I sit back and look at it while I'm doing the editing process here. It's looking really pretty. I hope you love it when you see it at the end. That's my favorite part. So I am using light lavender, and then I went back to the dark lavender, the regular lavender, and then after that I'm going to do the same blue, except for no cerulean blue this time. I'm just going to go with cayman blue and patina, and that's going to bring us right up to those gold dots, or past them even. See? There we go. All in a split second. And I'm going to put some little orange dots around the gold dots here. And I'm also going to do a row of yellow. And they're just smaller dots. They're not big ones. And we're almost done. We're just going to be adding a little extra gold soon. So there's the yellow. Notice how that yellow and orange, it doesn't overtake the whole thing. It doesn't take away from the blue and the purple and the gold. It just kind of pops in little areas, and I really like doing that. So sometimes if you use like a red or like a neon green or something, it just really stands out amongst all that blue. So I'm ending, see, that's where I wanted those gold dots to be in the end. That was my intention, but I had to add them at the end anyway. This looks so pretty. So now I'm using gold and I'm dotting up in smaller. I do walk up there with the dotting needle. So that's more of like a toothpick size. So you might want to use a toothpick or your smallest dotting tool for this part. It's just kind of to finish everything off with a nice little kind of like a gold chain around it. That's what I kind of think of it as. It's protected in a gold chain. And then I'm going to do some bigger dots, just 3 of them. One big one, and then as the next one down is a little bit smaller. Next one down is smaller than that one. And that's just to kind of finish it off. It's like a fancy doily that's like placed on top of a stone, but it's not a doily. It's dots. And you did it. You created something beautiful. That's what I love about this. Even if it just is a bunch of dots and you're just kind of trying to figure it out as you go along, it turns into a magical piece of artwork. So I was going to add yellow to other parts too, but I decided not to. But I'm adding yellow to those bigger gold dots and then orange to these ones. And I'm thinking that's probably all I really wanted to do. But I'm going to show it to you sealed with resin. It's going to be spectacular. I'm going to line this where we have the other side of the stone is showing, the natural side. We're just going to kind of separate it with gold, and then I'm going to line that gold with black underneath so that it just separates everything. And then I will sign the back of it before I resin. And then I'm going to show it to you. So stay tuned. I'll be right back. And we can admire it all shiny and bright. And here it is. It is stunning. I absolutely love it. And like I said, I don't normally do a blue background or a different colored background other than black or natural. And I actually really like this. I would love to know what you think of it. And if you plan on painting one as well, you can choose whatever colors you want. You can do whatever background you want. It's totally up to you. And every one that you do in the exact same design will look completely different with a different color. So here it is, just a still image. Beautiful under just the little bit of light that's coming in through my window. I love it. I love you as well. So make sure you keep painting. I will see you very, very soon. Leave your ideas in the comments of this video and keep painting. Bye.